Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Did you guys see Netanyahu's speech at Congress today? I want to know, how many of you saw that speech? I think America should be embarrassed for what we saw Netanyahu do in the People's House of Representatives. A foreigner entered the People's House of Representatives and completely insulted every American doing the things that we are known for with our freedoms. Welcome aboard, Peggy Lopez from California. Welcome aboard, Carl Cox from Georgia. Welcome aboard, Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes from Atascocita, Kingwood. Welcome aboard, E2247 from all over, AVQ from Brooklyn, New York, El Senor Rudden, Bruce Pollard from Kingwood, Texas, Lee Grant from Montgomery County, and let's see, did I miss anybody? Yvette Avery Herod, who was the first in the chat, from Atlanta, Georgia. Where is our Paul? I don't see him in here yet for me to say. Powder Springs, Georgia. So let's see if Powder Springs, Georgia is going to show up. I actually learned to memorize it. Anyhow, welcome aboard, guys. Welcome aboard. Let me start reading what you guys have before I get into my rant. Michael Radin says, ABC News, Rashida Tlaib holds up war criminal sign during Netanyahu's address to Congress. During his speech, Tlaib was seen in the audience holding up a sign that said war criminal on one side and guilty of genocide on the other. On Tuesday, Tlaib tweeted, Netanyahu is a war criminal committing genocide against the Palestinian people. It is utterly disgraceful that leaders from both parties have invited him to address Congress. He should be arrested and sent to international court. I agree. If you saw what I saw in Congress, you will have to say that Republican Congress people and complicit Democrats have put our lives all in danger because, again, blowback is a bad thing. And they have set us up for a blowback. NBC News, Vice President Kamala from Rudnin again. Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign has requested vetting materials for 5 possible candidates. They include Roy Cooper, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, Tim Walz, Mark Kelly. I think Kelly is the front runner right now. I think he's logically brings quite a bit, apparently. And last one, Michael Rudden says, your VP choice has to shore up your weaknesses, so a 2-woman ticket is unlikely. You want to pick someone who's not strong, pro-Israel, or not strongly pro-Israel, or you lose the progressive vote with your choice. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is the only good pick from this list. You might want to consider Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear or Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. I really like Kelly for what he brings, but what can I say? Who am I? Bridge MCP says, Vote.org just announced a nearly 700% increase in daily voter registration, more than 38,500 new registration in the 48-hour period following President Biden's announcement. This figure marks the single largest number of voter registration over a 48-hour period during the 2024 cycle. Younger voters between 18 and 34 accounted for 83% of the registration. Let me tell you what else. Think about what happens when Taylor Swift comes out. Because you know Taylor Swift's going to endorse now. So when Taylor Swift brings her army, think about what that's going to do when she makes voting for young people cool. You know, that's going to be an interesting thing. All right, continuing reading from my peeps. You lost your chat. Bridge, what do you mean by that? Okay, E2247 says cornflakes are grits. Give me grits with a lot of butter or coconut oil in it. Yeah, I bet you guys have never tried grits with coconut oil. Oh, scrumptious. That's a Caribbean form of preparing it, man. Baseball or curling? I will take curling. Baseball, boring. Horses or orchids? Orchids in what form? Meaning orchids, the plant? I don't know. Harrismania or Kamala Mentum? I kind of like Kamala Mentum. Vote your conscience. I love that, brother. All right, E2247 also said, in typical display of political duplicity, Democrats ensured Kamala wasn't seen today publicly applauding war criminal Netanyahu. Instead, she's meeting him behind closed doors. Yeah. Look, E2247, if you want to win the election, you have to align all your strings properly. You can win the progressive PR war and lose it all. Let's talk about that later on if you want to. Maybe you should call in and we can talk about that as well. All right, Bree says she couldn't watch it. I can't blame you. I had to watch it so that you guys wouldn't have to. E2247 says, we've all seen exactly what these private meetings with Israel officials lead to. More death and destruction for Palestinian lives. Wait, hold on, E2247. The meeting doesn't have to be private. Whether it's private, public, or whatever, the same thing happens. We have a genocidal maniac that runs Israel, and they are unable to get rid of him. And with that, since we are unable to put pressure on him for some fantastical reason, we, the American people, are ultimately going to pay the price for the blowback that's going to occur. And we don't have the Secret Service to protect us. All right, Michael says the Green New Deal was never implemented. I don't know what the F Eric is talking about. It wasn't implemented, but he did put quite a bit of stuff towards pieces of the Green New Deal. Not nearly half, not nearly a quarter, but it's a start. We need a more progressive Congress. Eric Hayes says not having a primary. Eric, I hit Eric earlier on the show today because Eric is simply parroting without knowing the actual fact and factual information. He is parroting Fox News. So I am going to pretty much disregard Eric's statements on these issues because, again, if he's parroting Fox News, he's not parroting the truth, right? I can't waste time on that today. Some other time when I need to explain something that he says that actually is worth refuting, I will. But if you guys can refute, Michael, you can refute him in the chat so that there's a record of the refutation. All right, let's see what else we got. Michael Rodin says, rough day, feeling mad, don't want to bring any more negativity into the chat. Look, bring objectivity into the chat. Objectivity. Let's not call it negativity. Let's call it objectivity. Talib, there you go. Anyway, let's continue reading. Let's continue reading what Brother E2247 has pointed out. That war criminal that just got big ovations, standing ovations, mostly from Republicans in our Congress, what is he responsible for? As our great E2247 points out, day 292, 7th of October, 39,145 Palestinians killed, 800 persons more than day 280 or 280, at least 90,257 wounded, 1,974 more than on day 280, and 129,402 casualties. And that is an understatement. And Yvette is sending positive affirmations Positive vibes to Brother Rudnin. Brother Rudnin, the same that I send you as well, my brother. Positive vibes, positive vibes, positive vibes. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else have we got here? I like Mark Kelly, male service astronaut. Yeah, I know, right? I do too. Okay, Berto, Kelly would be the NASA funding pick. That's what good he brings. Maybe that's enough. Hey, I like NASA. I remember I used to work for NASA now. Don't knock my peeps. Come on, Rudnin. Don't knock my peeps now. All right, Peggy Lopez says just another display of how the patriarchy thinks it is safe position to act out in public. Harris may be a small counterbalance with this out of control patriarchy. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh Lord, oh Lord. All right, let me continue reading. Let's see. Yvette says grits are amazing. I know, right? Yvette, I like, look, grits can be dangerous too, though. You know, you take some grits, you put some butter, you put some cheese, all kinds of cheese, not only regular cheese, but a little bit of parm on the top too. Madre mia, carajo. Super. That is sort of the gourmet way of, you can fix it your gourmet way. But I just like grits with a little bit of butter, put some raisins in it, I like it that way too. Sometimes I'll even put peanut butter and jam in it. It's a great, great, great food. And sometimes you can get fancy with it. Some people like their grits with, over here, there's this stuff like grits and chicken, grits and fried chicken, or grits and shrimp. Man, it's good. All right, let me stop getting hungry. As you guys know, I fast once a week now. Lost 12 pounds. All right. Steigen Bergen Greek says Taylor Swift can bring lots of people to our side. She holds a lot of sway with a whole generation. Yes, she does. And she creates her own music and she runs her own stuff. I love that girl because she has, look, you guys know what I think about capitalism, etc. But what I so love about her is that she is the producer, she does the creator of the music. She is a real representation of free enterprise entering, but she has to run in a capitalist world. But she is what true enterprise represent. Love that young girl. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Something for the screen. Bridge has ordered me to put something on the screen. And here we go. Let me see if I can get it on the screen for everybody to see. And this is it. It says, if you think the attacks on Kamala for not having any children are misogynistic, imagine if she had 5 kids by 3 different men. I know, right? Trump has a lot of baby mamas, and somehow he doesn't get attacked for that. Amazing. Imagínate eso. Very good point, Bridge MCP. Very good point. All right, our beautiful Yvette says, not if, she says to Stagenberger Creek, not a fan per se, but definitely not a fool to think she doesn't have a big influence. You are on point. Absolutely so, my dear. We also have no air for BS today. That's good, brother. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Gene Daigle says Pete Buttigieg will be good and continue to excite the younger generation. And you know what else with Pete Buttigieg? Pete Buttigieg is one of the best spokespersons for the Biden administration. He knows how to articulate. Peggy Lopez likes Kelly. I like Kelly too. Let's see what else we got. Thomas Massey. Today, Congress will undertake political theater on behalf of the State Department. Very true. Gene Daigle says cream of wheat from the Northeast, a little sugar and milk. Daigle, I love cream of wheat too. I'm not going to argue with you about that now. Eric Hay says this effing guy, he doesn't even know what Green New Deal is. Egberto, one for the screen. That is to be the Green New Deal. The climate crisis is not the only single greatest challenge facing. What are you talking about? Come on now. No, 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 no. Okay, let's continue with the thing here, brother. I can't. That one is too small. but I'm going to do this here. You know what? I better do this for I better do this for because I think a little bit of my biases came out there. Sorry about that. Let me go put that on. There we go. All right. End the greed of the fossil fuel industry and hold them accountable. All right. The climate crisis is not the only single greatest challenge facing our country. It is also our single greatest opportunity to build a more just and equitable future, but we must act immediately. For decades, fossil fuel corporations. Oh, yeah, I agree. All right, let's continue. I'll keep it on the screen for a while. Thank you, Eric. I don't know what you're talking about, though. All right, let's see what else we got. But Taylor is a billionaire and progressive. Hate them. No, we don't hate. We don't hate Tyler. I mean, let me tell you about her. Like I said, she did it by herself. Notice when I talk about indirect wealth and direct wealth. All right. She went ahead, she writes her music, she plays her instruments, she does all these things. Yes, she needs to pay back a lot more for the engineers who created all the other stuff, yes. But unlike others, right, and I can name every talk show host or whatever that just talk and uses it the services of everybody else, she actually produced something that people tangibly have. Anyway, let me not go into all of that right now. Tamara Chance, how are you doing, Tamara? You're new. Where are you from? Mark Kelly is an astronaut. Conservatives can't stand anything to do with science. How are you doing, Tamara Chance? I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Why don't you tell me where you're from so I can give you the official salute? All right, what else have we got here? Peggy Lopez says, without a controlled climate, it is selfish to bring children onto what appears to be a non-sustainable planet. Oh, I so love you, Peggy, for actually the analysis. Egberto, you don't need to read it out. Just put it on the screen. I just did. Egberto, for the screen. You guys are screening me out today, guys. But you know I love you. I love you. I love you. Let's see if I understand that one. I don't know if I understand that one, but I'm going to put it out. You're going to have to help me out to understand that one, Bridge MCP. Let's see what it says here. What are we? Which one am I supposed to put on the screen? The first one with the person. Who is that there? Am I missing something, Bridge? Bridge MCP, you got to help me with that picture. And not only that, remember, we have people that only listen to this stuff on podcasts. So I have to be able to describe what I'm seeing there. And maybe I'm missing something. So you got to help me out. Anyhow, while she helps me out, read my comment. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can read your comment. I'm going to put it on screen. Read. Today we are interviewing a man that doesn't benefit from the patriarchy. You know what, Bridge? You should put that on the screen too. On top of the picture, download it, put that into it, and then upload it again. And that way we have everything on the video as well. Because this isn't going to translate to the video, but it's okay. Anyway, folks, I want to show you how our people, greetings from Pacifica, San Francisco. Oh, so you're my Pacifica sister. Tamara Chance. Yep. As you know, I'm a board member on the Pacifica National Board, our radio network that goes all over the country. I still have a few more months that I've got to serve, double duty, both the LSB and the PNB. But anyway, thank you for being here, Tamara. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. All right, let me tell you something, guys. I want to show you how Benjamin Netanyahu commandeered our Congress. I want you to see how he told them all in not these words, but he said, he's saying his speech. Then they're about to clap. He says, shut up and listen to what I'm saying. He didn't quite say it like that. I'm taking, what do you call it? Liberty, artistic liberty for that. That's artistic liberty. Don't say that, but I want you to listen to this, guys. Benjamin Netanyahu came to the United States and commandeered our Congress. Check this out.
Just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state. No, don't applaud. Listen. The outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. Now, just as malicious...
Now, I wanted you guys to see how he did that and how they just went quiet. And that was the kind of speech that Netanyahu gave. Okay? That was the kind of speech that Netanyahu gave. He was pounding the lantern, what do you call it? The podium, pounding it. He called all our protesters stupid. He called the protesters Iran's idiots. Okay? He called them what kind of idiots? He called the protesters Iran's useful idiots. And he attacked every politician who dared contradict anything that he said. It sounded like an American president who was mad at its Congress. If anybody gets a chance to listen to that speech, you don't have to listen to the whole thing. In fact, you could even listen to it in silence. And you would swear that Benjamin Netanyahu was the president of the United States of America in the way he addressed our Congress, the People's Congress. I mean, and to see them get up and clap, they were clapping out of this world. They were greeting him as he's lying to them, and they know he is lying to them. He's talking about all the food that he's feeding Gaza, 3,000 calories a day for every Gazan. And he's talking about the kill ratio. This is what gets me, right? He spoke about the kill ratio, people. He spoke about the kill ratio. We have, with the 40,000 people dead that E2247 keeps us up to date on every day. This man had the nerve to talk about our kill ratio is lower than other wars. You know what he likes to use? That we dropped a nuclear bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and that threw our kill ratio out the zoo because there was hundreds of thousands that died then, right? Like if that is good. Well, not only that, America came in to get Manuel Antonio Noriega in my country, Panama, and of course they killed 10,000 Panamanians to do that. The record book will show 1,000 Panamanians. The UN will show 4,000 Panamanians. I know where Chorrillo is. Chorrillo is where the headquarters for Manuel Antonio Noriega was. And that's how many people lived there. Thousands of people were just gunned down, destroyed. So we don't have the moral authority to tell Netanyahu anything as an executive. But our Congress has the ability to cut the umbilical cord of the genocide being done in our name. They have the opportunity to do that. And as I'm watching that, I am going bat, you know what, crazy. I don't want to have to edit it, so I didn't say the word. But as I'm watching this stuff, I'm going bat, you know what, crazy. So I started to put a whole lot of tweets out there. Let me read some of the tweets that I sent out there. Let's see if I can get to it here. Para ver, si lo puedo hacer. Let me show you guys. I want to start from where I started. The first one I did, I think, was that video where I said, watch genocidal war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu order our Congress to be quiet. And they oblige like puppets as he lies and bends the truth. We're allowing this guy to use us as his tool of war. And it is dangerous to every American. Then I said, we allowed a foreigner, a genocidal war criminal, Netanyahu, to come to our Congress with a message commanding what he demands from them. And they clapped in subservience. The capitulation is unbelievable. I would not believe it had I not seen it live. Madre mia, I wanted to hold and pull the hairs that I don't have in my head. Then I wrote, wow, genocidal war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu comes to our country and uses our Congress to enter our election by bolstering our insurrectionist, treasonous felon, former President Donald Trump. This is insane. It makes us look like Netanyahu's puppet. He goes on camera and he started to thank he is in Biden's administration. Biden is giving this guy bombs. Biden is giving this guy all kinds of money for the genocide he's conducting in Israel, for the apartheid system that he has in Gaza. And he comes and he keeps on thanking Donald Trump. Thank you, Donald Trump, for this. Thank you, Donald Trump, for that. The disrespect. There were a few senators that just kind of walked out, but I mean the disrespect that showed. I mean, it was shameful on the part of our Congress, how they capitulated to this war criminal. And let me tell you, folks, Peggy Lopez says the only genocidal government we never talk about is the American government, Dems and GOP. I can't argue with that. But I want you guys to think this out, guys. Think this out. My last comment before I came and had to rush to cut some video was, ashamed, I'm ashamed. A genocidal war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu, walked into the People's House of Representatives as if he were the President of the United States, hijacking it with a speech with implicit orders to our politicians. Wow. You listen to that speech. He was telling these politicians what he was going to do. I am not stopping this damn war until I feel this war is done. I mean, if the Congress has got to be embarrassed, they have got to be embarrassed for what Netanyahu did on that floor. I mean, and he commandeered it. He's banging on the podium. He is a guest in our house. He is a guest in our house. And he look at Michael Rudnick. Hey, I love you, brother. Thank you. Let's go ahead and throw that up because Michael did a great job. You see how we work in teams, guys? That is how we work in teams. Today, we are interviewing a man who doesn't benefit from patriarchy. And that is so right. Thank you very much for that, Brother Rudnin and Sister Bridge MCP. You see how when people work together, how much you can accomplish? That's what I believe in, the collective, the collective, the collective, the collective, the collective. Anyhow, what else have we got here to read before I go to the other video? Biden will receive PM Netanyahu at the White House Thursday. He's breaking his promise to bar Netanyahu from entry into the White House. I didn't know he did that. I didn't know he had something that he was going to bar. Eric Hayes says, Willie, sounds like Bibi got his point across to the progressives as you sound pissed. Oh, I'm pissed. Yeah, I am. Because there should be no foreigner coming into our house and talking to us like that, especially a foreigner that's dependent on us to fulfill his war. This is unforgivable. Anyway, change of subject. MAGA. I want to talk about Christian nationalism. And nobody better to describe Christian nationalism than State Representative James Talarico from Texas. I want you guys to listen to Brother Talarico because I tell you, I was so impressed with the brother, and I think you will as well.
Christian nationalists are not interested in legislating Christian values. They are only interested in legislating Christian dominance. Christian nationalism is putting prayer in schools and taking free lunches out. Christian nationalism is teaching the Bible in schools, but refusing to give teachers a pay raise. Christian nationalism is forcing schools to post the Ten Commandments while nominating a candidate for president who has violated almost all of them. It is not about Jesus. It is about power.
I mean, in less than 1 minute, in less than 1 minute, James Talarico, goes out and expresses what Christian nationalism is. And again, you see these guys trying to make believe that what they're supporting is Christianity and what is moral. But when he makes those contrasts, that makes it so much clearer. Yes, they want to throw the Bible in school. They want to throw the 10 Commandments in school. Yet they want you. Yet they want you with a straight face to say, you go ahead and vote for Donald Trump. And who is Donald Trump? A serial liar, that's a commandment. A fornicator, that's a commandment. A thief, that's a commandment. Coveting your neighbors, whatever, commandment. Commandment after commandment, this guy breaks. This guy uses school to rip people off. This guy made people work for him for free. This guy raped women. And these Christian nationalists who are trying to purify the church or purify the schools by putting the Bible into the church and taking out books that no tienen valor, that doesn't have any value in their respect, right? But then they tell you to go vote for Donald. Do you see the hypocrisy? Can you believe, in fact, that anybody who votes, anybody with children, especially with girl children, can you believe that you are going to ask them or ask anyone to vote for Donald Trump and then look into the eyes of your kids? If you want to know why our society, why the kids are degraded, it's because of that lack of value, specifically on the right. Now, let me have you listen to Brother Christopher Titus, comedian, because he has a lot to say that he wants MAGA to hear. Check this out.
What's stunning to me is the people with the least money look up to and vote for the people that took their money. Do you want to go down how that happened? Reagan adopted trickle-down economics, which said if we give the rich people more money, they will give it to poor people. And then the dumb poor people waited for that money to trickle down. It didn't. The London School of Economics did a study of 18 countries over the last 50 years. They found out that not only did the poor get absolutely nothing with trickle down except bent over and something weird trickling down their leg, the rich benefited and more than doubled their wealth. Yeah, no trickle for the poor and a raging river of quan for the rich. Yet the South, the poorest parts of our country, overwhelmingly vote for the people that continue to make the South the poorest parts of our country. Republicans, to you hardcore conservatives who actually think the Republicans have your back, can you tell me how? Guns? Okay, so you get to have unlimited, no permit, concealed carry. Why? We've had more mass shootings than days in the year. How scared are you? And what are you scared of? Minorities? Immigrants? Well, in a comprehensive study done by Princeton University in 2020, they found that U.S.-born citizens are over 2 times more likely to be arrested for violent crimes, 2.5 times more likely to be arrested for drug crimes, and over 4 times more likely to be arrested for property crimes than immigrants. You know, Americans. Patriots commit more crime and do more damage than the people who came here legally and illegally. Yeah, put that in your flag and burn it. But the Republicans keep you scared. You know, don't worry that your kids might get mowed down in school. Worry about a drag brunch where they may hear a Broadway retrospective. No one has been killed at a drag brunch, but kids have been mowed down in school learning to read. The Democrats have brought back 12 million jobs. They started infrastructure, the CHIPS Act, lowered drug prices. They expanded healthcare, 260 million vaccinated. Wages are up 5%. Inflation is down. Gas prices are down. 800,000 manufacturing jobs. They united NATO and brought back America's reputation worldwide. That's in 3 years. The Republicans have put forward zero legislation that fixes anything, period. The GOP voted against infrastructure. They voted against the CHIP Act. Yet, they claim credit for it in their districts. They voted against cheap insulin, lowered drug prices, and against expanded health care. For you! The Republicans backed up Russia and have spent more time talking about the president's son than they have about your needs as tax-paying Americans. That's right, Poochie. Let's get into this. So in summation, trickle-down economics doesn't trickle. Immigrants commit less crime than Americans, right? And drag queens don't hurt kids. Unlimited AR-15s do. Hunter never worked in the White House. He never made $640 million while working in the White House, and he didn't take $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. Trump's kids did. I want you guys to know woke is better than being brain dead. And to those who think someone singing show tunes is more dangerous than a mentally ill, methed up redneck with a semi-automatic and body armor, to you who think beer can be gay, and by the way, if this beer is gay, you've been drinking gay beer for years. To those of you who think that owning the libs is more important than owning your own home, keep voting Republican, but do it knowing that they are the people that made your life fuck, and they did it by scaring you. You don't have because they took. Admit it. You have Stockholm syndrome. You're voting for the people that raped you, that stole from you, and are holding you hostage. And as far as I can tell, you like it.
You like it. You like it. You know, it is when I go out there, and I said it this morning at KPFT as well. The reality is the people that are getting hurt more so than the libs. They want to stick it to the libs, but in the process of sticking it to the libs, they're hurting themselves at an order of magnitude larger than that of whom again? The libs. They're hurting themselves. And yes, I know some people are masochistic. They don't mind just to hurt you. They don't mind if they have to hurt themselves. There are some people like that. There are some people whose hate is so that way that's what they do. By the way, the reason that thing is moving is not me. That is on the format that he did for the 16:9, and if you look at it 16:9, that's exactly what's happening as well, right? It's moving around that way. So it is just a screenshot that I got. I came across that while I was scanning my TikTok this morning. I'm like, oh my God, I've got to bring it to the PDR posse. The PDR posse needs to see this. But it seems like the one and only Tom. Well, let me finish this part here first. So as you can see, folks, we have to keep. I know many of you think this message never sinks into your right-wing brothers and sisters, right? But let me tell you, you know how they got fixed, or how they got how should I put it? How they got ill-informed? They got ill-informed through repetition. They kept on hearing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And in hearing these things over and over and over again, it started to become a truth to them. And it also became a part of their being. And when something becomes a part of your being, you generally need either that slow ramp up till you break, or simply you break. There are people that I work with that simply break and throw their hands up in the air and say, I see the light. But most people is a constant growing. It's a constant growing. You have to give them that landing space. And that's where we're at with quite a few. But anyway, we got a new limerick. And you know what? We've been missing our limericks, haven't we? We have been missing our limerick from the one and only, the poet laureate, the PDR Posse's poet laureate. So he says this poem is inspired by a scene from Shakespeare's Macbeth. So let's get busy. I'm going to read it cold. I'm not going to learn how to read it. I'm going to read it cold. It goes like this. Trump got shot just before his convention. Then came a cauldron of news. Almost too much to mention. But I'll try. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. The world broils in MAGA's bubble. Heir of Trump, beard of Vance. Millions of groveling sycophants. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Madmen with guns are on the prowl, but gun control is not allowed. For real Americans strong and proud, boil, boil, toil and trouble. Biden's got COVID. Dems disloyal? DNC has good policies and goals, yet candidates still down in polls. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Democrats struggle, all in a muddle. Biden fumbles, mumbles and stumbles. Must be humble or democracy crumbles. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Biden bows out. Dems all huddle. Harris steps in. Is presidential fave. GOP frantic. Trumpers rant and rave. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. The planet's melting from burning oil. Can EVs, wind and solar energy save humanity from climate lethargy? Boil, boil, toil and trouble. We need solutions on the double. Will we be one country or 50 states separate? The election is November will determine our fate. Damn, Tom, that's a long one. That's a good one. Wow. Love it. Love it. Love it. I don't know how you come up with these things, but you sure do. Anyway, folks, let's go give Tom Sarnick his kudos for that great limerick. Actually, it's a modified limerick, as he would say. So let's give him his kudos because it's well deserved. Egberto, you got it from TikTok. The original is on YouTube. Okay, great. I'll seek the original, but I might keep the TikTok version in the video just so that I don't run into some copyright, issues. This would turn out to be sort of added value, meaning I add a little something to it. All right, let's see what we have. What a great joy in my heart to share this on the entire public on how. I think that is that is some kind of propaganda. Yvette Avery Herod says, "Great job, Tom C." Yes, it was a great job. All right, come on, let's get those kudos rolling in for Tom C. You got a hand clap from Maywood. The spammer is back again. New account. I know, right? All right, let's see what else have we got here. I want to play this 5-minute piece that I did yesterday from Brian H. I cleaned it up a bit because I wanted to play it without all the intermittent crappa that I had there. So I'm going to play that 5-minute piece that I did again because I think it went over very well today on KPFT. If I can find it, I'll bring it. I want to play that piece over again because, man, I tell you, we have to get with the program. The enslaved mind is what I called it. So here we go with the enslaved mind, my brothers and sisters, for what we did. I think it was a couple days ago that we did this. You guys have better memories than I do, but let's go ahead and play it. Brian, I want to do this respectfully, but I want to show how the Powell memo, how the indoctrination in America from birth has created an enslaved mind. Listen to this. Brian says, and I want you guys to walk this street with me. It's the wealthy who put their capital and future at risk. I once told you that this economic system doesn't care about humanity. It only cares about capital. But worse, it has the humans that are the slaves within the system, the workers. It makes them also look at capital as having more importance. How do I know that? Because listen to Brian. I want to deconstruct that. It's the wealthy who put their capital and future at risk. And then he says, workers just have to go get a job. Let's deconstruct this. What is your life worth? Is it worth money? Is it worth anything? Because the guys who build the skyscrapers in downtown Houston, in downtown New York, in downtown California, they risk their lives when they're on those scaffolds, when they're on those things building. They're risking their lives for a building they likely cannot go into. They're risking their lives for a skyscraper they probably can't go into. They're breathing in fumes that will get them sick decades later, that the rich person isn't going to want to pay for, even though they got it on the job. I repeat, the enslaved mind, the enslaved mindset is such inculcated within our psyche that we, those that will never be able to get capital because capital breeds capital, we are there defending those people who abuse our work, our worth, our intellect. You put a rich person who bought an island and isolate that island. That island can grow food, etc. You put the farmer who is the worker and the rich person on the island, you can't get anything out of there from the rich person. The person who can survive is the farmer. Yet we have Brian within his mind thinking that the worker just has to find a job, as if the work itself isn't intrinsically a risk as well. You know, it boggles the mind that we continue to bestow upon the wealthy unearned value. These people go to school, they get a business degree, and they go work for a Wall Street firm where they trade paper, stocks. They didn't create anything. They didn't have the intellect to create anything of value. Yet you revere them. You may be out there sweeping floors. You may be out there doing welding. You may be out there doing all these things, while that person just went to business school, started trading stocks, and owns you. Because when they decide that metal corporation no longer produces what it is, they break it up into pieces and sell it as pieces of paper. They don't even know what it looks like on the inside, but they sell you like a slave, and you continue to support policies where you give these guys, you know, back in Panama now, we have a lot of these memes on things where they put you have a mind, you have your head, and within that head, they put a chain. The enslaved mind is worse than enslaved bodies. It's the same thing that pastors know, right? Pastors know something very important. When you go to the church the first time, I'm talking these evangelical churches, they don't ask you for anything. They don't ask you for money. They shower you with stuff, and they start to work on your mind. And as they work on your mind, they teach you about tithing, and they teach you about all these things that Jesus tells you should be doing within for the church. I'm not talking about the good deeds now, doing within the church. And then by the end, they don't care that you don't give an offering every Sunday, because by the end, they know that they will have your mind. And if they have your mind, right, what it says is that they have everything that you own. And again, I can't force you to understand, Brother Brian H. So when you say, stop telling me I am wrong, you're absolutely wrong. And I've explained why you're wrong. Whenever you go to work, you're risking your body. Whenever that person risks capital, if you think risking capital is more important than risking the body, that means you care more about capital than humanity. I've explained it. If you don't understand that, my brother, if you don't understand that, it's not I trade my effort and time for currency. You see again? That's an enslaved mind. I trade my time and currency. It's not an even swap. It's not an even swap. As you continue to think that, then that is the reason why society is hard to change, because we have to change people one person at a time to remove that chain from the mind. All right. You know, here's Mike Cisak, who still doesn't get it. He says, it boggles the mind that leftists don't see how people earn capital through labor. Leftists think that people should just hand over their labor to the central government they would like to run. Leftists push for slavery. I want you to tell me, calculate for me, how did Musk earn $100 billion? What work did he do that his labor created $100 billion? I want to show you what an enslaved mind would tell you. You would say that, well, he innovated and he did none of that. Other people did. The sum total of absolutely everything that Musk did is actually a piece of everybody else's work. In other words, he is a parasite. Okay? That is a classic definition of a parasite. I want to thank Tom C. for that super chat. My brother, he says, thanks, Egberto, for your informative and insightful PDR program and progressive support. Keep it up. Cheers. My brother, thank you so kindly for supporting the program. As I say all of the time, we simply cannot do it without you. And again, Eric, it has nothing to do with jealousy. The only reason I'm answering that is for people to understand there's no jealousy here. Look, personally, I've created enough products that this hands and this mind created. Tons of products. You can look me up. My name is everywhere, both for NASA and all these other things. In fact, I got software in the space station. Look, let me tell you something, brother. That's not the issue. The issue is our economic system as a fraud. That's why I gave up the stuff that I gave up. Our economic system as a fraud. I know it's hard when you're indoctrinated into it to see it, but one of the things that I try to explain is why our economic system is a fraud. And I'm not the only one saying that. You have a lot of economists that will tell you that right now, half of them behind closed doors. Folks like Richard Wolff would tell you in open space. But we know it's a fraud. The economic system is a fraud. It's the only economic system that tries to tell you that the private sector is inherently more efficient than the public sector. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, if you have to pay profit and shareholder value, etc., on top of what you're producing, it's impossible for it to be more efficient. Now, am I saying that I don't want a private sector? That's not what I'm saying at all. I want a private sector to go off and do its thing. I just want a strong public sector that makes sure people are cared for. There are certain parts of our economy that do not belong in the private sector. Healthcare, energy, and a couple others do not belong in the private sector. In fact, most of the inventions come from the public sector and then it's capitalized by the private sector, which means it's a legal way of stealing from us all. But again, you have to understand that. Okay, Willie's for screen. What's for screen? Do you have something for me to put on the screen that I missed? What did I miss, sister? Musk in all. All right, let's go ahead and do this, folks. I'm almost out of time, so this is the time for me to say, please support the program. And how can you support the program? You can support the program by, I brought up the wrong screen here. You can support the program by going to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Let me put that on the screen so that if people that are seeing it in the link can just go to politicsdoneright.com/support. That gives you all the different ways in which you can support the program. But what I'm asking people to do is to please support our newsletter by becoming a paid subscriber. And how can you become a paid subscriber of our newsletter? Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Una vez más, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. And please become a paid subscriber. I need to get to thousands. I'm only at 100 and something right now. I need a lot more subscribers so that this stuff can actually continue appropriately. Anyway, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.